With so many methods of transportation to choose from, you might feel a little overwhelmed trying to decide what is right for your business or your particular shipment. In this video, we are going to talk about the pros and cons of shipping with rail versus dry van. Hi, I'm Josh, a sales manager at Anderson Trucking Service. When it comes to shipping, you want to ensure your shipment makes it to its destination safely and on time. So let's start with the pros and cons of rail transportation. Some of the positives of rail transport are it's extremely cost effective because of the large quantity of freight that's being brought on board. With multiple shipments, you can cut down the cost because you're making your money over a large variety of customers. They have a large carrying capacity to accommodate this large amount of customers, and they have a large capacity for bulk shipments like tankers hauling oils, fuels, and other hazardous materials. Some of the cons of rail transport are its inflexibility. You are more so working on the carrier's schedule as opposed to your own. Routes and timings cannot be adjusted to individual requirements. They also have longer transit times. These are lessened over longer miles, but it still can be an issue as it's still longer than your average semi-truck shipment, particularly so over the shorter mile shipments. They have more complex door-to-door services. When you book something on a semi-truck shipment, it's typically dock to dock or job site to job site. When you book something on rail, you still have to find a way to get this shipment to the initial rail yard, to get it on the train, and then once it reaches its destination rail yard, you are responsible for coordinating the semi-truck to pick it up from that rail yard and bring it to your dock anyways. Now let's dive into dry van transport. Some of the pros of dry van transport are it's tailored to your schedule. You don't have the issue that you have with rail transport where you're trying to book it around the carrier's schedule. We assign the carrier to your schedule. If you need it picked up on a Tuesday at 8 a.m., we will have a truck there at Tuesday at 8 a.m. If you need it delivered on Sunday morning at 6 a.m., we can absolutely make it happen. The schedule is much more tailored to you with a semi-truck as opposed to a freight train. Your freight is the only commodity that the driver is responsible for moving. The only exceptions to this are LTL and partial services, and even then the volume of freight that is on that trailer is much less compared to a train shipment. They are much more timely with shorter transport times and shorter lead times. We can assign a driver for a shipment in a matter of hours as opposed to needing a lead time of weeks, sometimes for rail shipments. Some of the cons of dry van transportation. It is more expensive than rail and typically by a larger margin, but that's because of the service that you're receiving and the shorter lead times and the more direct transport times that you're getting from a semi-truck. They can be delayed by traffic delays and breakdowns. Semi-trucks are no different than your truck at home, only in the sense that they do require more maintenance because of the miles that are being put on them, and breakdowns do happen. Tires do blow out, turbos fail, belts snap. All of these things can impact your shipment, as well as weather. Hurricanes, flooding, heavy rains, heavy winds can stop drivers. These are all things that can impact your transit time with a semi-truck for a dry van. They also have a higher risk of damage to goods. It's still relatively low in comparison to many other methods of transport, but there is a higher risk of damage to your product with a semi-truck, simply because a semi-truck is more likely to get into an accident as opposed to a train derailing. It's still a low possibility, a low probability I'd say, but it is higher than what you would receive with rail transport. To summarize the differences between rail and dry van transport, the best way to do it would be comparing it between a public bus and an Uber. Whereas if you take public transit with a bus, it's you, many other people, going to multiple destinations, and you don't get dropped off right at the door of the building you're going to. Whereas with an Uber, it's A to B. It's just you in the vehicle, no one else, and they pick you up from your door and drop you off at the door of your destination. Another way to put it would be with shipping services. If you pay for premium shipping, you have a tighter window for delivery and it typically gets to you faster, where you can pay for cheaper shipping, but it typically takes longer and that window is wider for delivery. Dry van and rail transport are only a couple of the many ways to transport your shipment. Your next step is to learn about how the trailer type could impact your shipping costs. Go ahead and click the link in the description and it will take you to our article titled "How Does Trailer Type Impact Freight Shipping Costs?" Here you will also find the Learning Hub, a massive library full of free educational resources to help you sort out your next shipment. Thank you for watching and have a great day.